Hey, everybody. It is training camp season. It is hard knock season for the Detroit Lions. And after watching episode 3, there were a few takeaways that I had. But in this video, I want to talk about one takeaway that I had. And I want you to hang around and listen to my reasoning because I think it will become pretty clear. And that is that winning matters even in the preseason. Now, there's going to be a lot of caveats to that. But for this Detroit Lions team, this current team, winning matters, even in the preseason. Let's talk about that and why I'm viewing it this way. But first, I want to take you back. I want to take you to a stroll in the past about a year. I don't know why I just said a week ago, when I talked about after the first preseason game, some of the fears that I had because of the way in which we lost the game. Now, I understand it was like the 8th cornerback on our roster. And I understand that it was garbage time, seemingly, with the players that were in there. But the Lions still found a way to lose a game. And I got hammered on that on this channel, which is fine. Like, that's what happens. But here's what I noticed while watching Hard Knocks. It seemed like it was very important to the coaching staff that they come away with a W. It seemed like it was very important to the coaching staff to learn winning ways and the small things that you have to do better. Everybody on the team can learn from the mistakes of the players that are on the deepest parts of the bench that probably won't even be on this team. And then we go in against the Colts. Day one, reports are super mixed with that joint practice. Day one reports are super mixed that the defense just got it handed to them. The offense played pretty well. And then day two, the defense stepped up big time. 12 plays, I think it was, in the red zone. Now 1 touchdown for the Colts. The offense was even more improved than they were day one. They learned from the mistakes of the day before. So I was really interested going into this preseason game, knowing the starters weren't playing. Did we learn from the mistakes that we made against the Atlanta Falcons in order to play winning football? And the answer was a resounding yes, we absolutely did. And I'm not going to say the Lions dominated this game against the Colts, but they absolutely were the better team in every facet of the game. They held them to under 40 yards rushing, while rushing for like 150 some or 170 yards. I don't know. We ran for a lot of yards with a backup, a second line that was like, oh my goodness, this is actually pretty darn good. All right. So, like, there's a lot of stuff going on with that. I think other things that you have to look at when you're playing this game in the preseason that you have to consider is what is important. And I understand winning isn't the most important thing, but let's talk about Dan Campbell. He comes out with his pants and he's trying to shake off and he's trying to talk about, he's owning it. Same old Lions, right? He's owning it, saying, like, this is our history. This is what we are known for. This is not what we are going to be known for anymore. He's like, come on, men. And he uses many more expletives than I do on this channel. But he is owning the fact that we're not great in the past, and he wants to change the culture to a winning culture. And that's what they did. By the way, same corner, gave up a touchdown, but it didn't matter because we stopped them on the 2-point conversion and we were able to win the game. Dan Campbell on the sidelines mic'd up. He's like, let's make a play. Whoever makes a play can fly the plane home. Like, he is pumped. The coaches are yelling, they are screaming. And you can sit here and we can say as fans, like, hey, winning doesn't matter. But then when your coaching staff, when your players, when everybody's responding to a win in a big way like that, that doesn't back up what people are saying last week when it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if we win in the preseason. Look at the Baltimore Ravens. They've won like 22 straight games in the preseason or something like that. That's been a pretty good program. And what winning in the preseason doesn't always translate to depth, but often it translates to depth. And I know you can give me the 4-0 preseason followed by 0-16 regular season for the Detroit Lions. Of course, those things are going to happen. But now these Lions players, this young team, this rebuilding team with a lot of players that have not tasted championship caliber football, are starting to taste some victory early on. You want to have enough victories, even in preseason, early on, to say, all right, what we're doing is working. Like it's working. And that's a big deal. We want to have that confidence going into the regular season. And I don't know what they're going to do for the third preseason game. I don't know if they're going to sit the starters. The NFL really isn't clear on this. But here's what I do know. No matter what we do in the first, second, third quarter, if we have the opportunity to win in the fourth and it comes away with a victory, that's a big deal. And I think especially in the Colts game where we kind of dominated that game. It felt like we were in control for the majority of the game. But early in the game, drives with David Blau, we got into the red zone, settled for field goals. We missed a long field goal attempt. And then we finally, at the end of the first half, hit that big touchdown in the corner. Tom Kennedy made a play. Like David Blau trusted his wide receiver to make a play, something that he doesn't always do, and something that Pimpleton just let him down on not that much earlier in the game. So, like, these are the kind of things where it's like, no, I'm going to make the right play. I'm going to make the right read. You're looking at the running backs, the way they're running the ball. They're making the right reads. They're cutting back inside like Deuce Staley. By the way, was there anything funnier than Deuce Staley without a voice? Like just being upset? Like that was hilarious to me. And I remember coaching days for me when like I have no voice and you're trying to be serious, but it's so hard for anybody to take you serious because you sound like this. It's absolutely hilarious. And that was Deuce Staley, this big, tough guy, NFL football player, former player, hard-nosed coach, and he's got nothing. But it didn't stop the running backs from playing well. It didn't stop the team from playing well. Dan Campbell was pumped. The coaches were fired up. Everybody knows that while winning in the preseason, you're right. You're right, Sports Talk Detroit Nation. Usually it doesn't matter that much. I will hold firm to the argument that for this team, this Lions team, they needed to taste victory before the regular season. They need to start learning what it takes to win. And even though the starters weren't on the field, they can watch. These young guys can see the differences. They can see the little things that led to victory, and that makes them that much hungrier to go out there, do the little things right themselves, and get the victory because they know that they have guys behind them that have done it, even if it's in the preseason. So you can sit here and you can say, you should know better. Hey, stop overreacting. It's just a preseason game. I get it. I fully get it. And it's not like this goes on our permanent record. And it's not like I'm sitting here being like, yeah, we won. Here we go. Like, no, I didn't stand up and cheer when we won at the end of the game or anything like that. It was more a sense of relief. Like, okay, we can win close games. We learned from our mistakes the week before when put in a very similar situation, not perfectly, but we learned and we did enough things right to secure a victory. And that can't be overstated. All right, everybody. Hey, appreciate you being here. Subscribe, hit that button below. If you haven't subscribed yet, like, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button. We love having you here, and we'll see you on